Hey there, Awakened Leader. Let's get you your positioning piece. Now, we've talked about homeschool and we've talked about basically routines and all that kind of stuff, opportunities for you to homeschool and start selling digital products, what digital products are. And now we're going to talk about the positioning piece, and that is through self-publishing. Now, there are amazing ways that you can make money through KDP, Amazon KDP, and this is going to help you prepare for that. Let's get started. What if taking all of the homeschooling stuff that you've done or your career experience and you said, you know what, I'm going to turn my knowledge, my past into a profitable business. Let's look at how you can package the past, okay? The wins, the outcomes, the overcomes, the lessons, the objectives, all of those things, and turn it into a profitable business. Hey, what's up? I'm Angelica Stanley. Welcome to Niche Nations. Let's identify your calling and fruitfully prep for online business. Let's go. Okay, Awakened Leaders. So we have entered into March and we are basically wrapping up everything from homeschool to digital products to now talking about your positioning piece, but specifically a piece or a product that is a tangible item like a self-published workbook, journal. You got it. Okay. So I want to talk to you about a few areas. And I say a few, there's actually five, but I'm going to talk to you about the meat and the potatoes of doing this because a lot of times in my personal experience, we skip this part and it's actually not as hard as it can seem. So, the first thing that we need to pay attention to is understanding what market research is. And once we identify exactly what our niche people are looking for, if you're publishing your story, a part of your testimony, then this is going to be a little different for you because you're you're publishing yourself, your story, your testimony. You're not giving the whole enchilada, like you're not giving the full main course. You're only giving key components. Basically, that there's the A to Z in a book, but you're only, or in a manuscript, or in like inside of my PLR hub where I teach you how to package your message. You basically go through an entire timeline. But when it comes to your book, you're only going to self publish a piece of that, right? So your entire journey is, maybe the Lord has positioned you to, you're a 7-figure entrepreneur now, or the Lord pulled you from career and now you're a stay at home mom, or the Lord has called you to homeschool, or the Lord has called you to start a business online. And throughout all of that, yes, you're an entrepreneur. However, maybe He's taking you on a journey of weight loss. And so maybe your journey of weight loss and healthy eating and living and lifestyle is the catalyst and the positioning piece that your ideal clients need in order to be that successful kingdom ambassador, right? In order to reach those 7 figures. Now, you might be saying, "Wow, Angelica, that's pretty much like the leg that I'm in. I'm focusing on health. I'm focusing on all that." Well, congratulations, you're in the right spot because here at Niche to Nations, I'm literally leading by the power of my testimony. Okay. So I've been able to sell on Amazon and publish and all of those things. And, with kids' books and crayon, coloring books and letter books and all of those things. But I never I sat back and I'm like, Lord, why is this not making as much money as I thought it was going to make? Or how come this is doing this? And I was constantly complaining and all of that. And, a brother of mine had posted something a while back on Instagram or Facebook, I think. And it's like, the reason why God hasn't opened that door is because you're complaining in the hallway. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I've been complaining in the hallway. So the complaining in the hallway for me was, we want to have the results of a seven-figure earner, but we don't want to do the work of a seven-figure earner. So if we look at it as the parable of talents, we we want the blessing of the one that got double for investing, right? Got double for making more, got double for doing more with what he was given, but we want to be the one that holds everything and not release anything or be stuck in perfection or comparison and all that kind of stuff. So it's a mindset thing. And so for me, market research, for me to understand my target audience and analyze competitor landscaping and understand what keyword research is, I had to do some mindset work and get into that position in order to do that. Because market research, if you are not healed and your mind is just not in a good place, you're going to be doing market research and you're going to get caught in the comparison game instead of the research game. And so this is the reason why I take my clients on a journey of, getting it together in the home. And if you're called to homeschool, then you homeschool. If you're not called to homeschool, then what is the home environment like? And then we look at digital products and making money online and what does that look like? And not being an influencer, so to speak, but learning how to niche down. What does that look like for you, right? And learning how to focus on one product and lead from that one product and do that one product until you get the results. And so, one of the things that I've been thankful for during this journey is walking it all out so that you can basically, I know this is hard for me to say, but like, don't do what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to do what God has called you to do. And that's majority of the conversation that I have with my clients. And it's mostly like, if you take what I'm doing, then it's not going to be authentic and it's not going to be what God has called you to do. Now there are bits and pieces of what I'm doing like this podcast episode. Maybe you needed to hear this so that we could talk about, market research and target audience or designing your book and, doing all these different things, all the fun aesthetic stuff, right? Or the designing of the interior, which if you go through Prep to Published or you do these workshops that we're doing, I take you through A to Z, right? So we basically go through getting it together. Like right now, the workshops inside of Niche to Nations in our group, we just went through basically breaking down how to use Trello and how to take a brain dump and turn it into a tasked out functioning system to help us, dot our I's and cross our T's in the to do list of all the things that we need to do. But we're also looking at what I call the priorities management system and labeling those and focusing on those and what these have to do with, if these don't get done, like our non-negotiables, if these don't get done, then nothing else can get done, because this is what keeps my cup filled. This is what, takes care of the ship. This is what takes care of the boat that God has given me inside, to steward and raise the kids and be the wife and be the mom or be the husband, whatever it is that you're listening to, whatever roles that, the leader in the community, whatever roles that you have. And so understanding your target audience, that person, um, when you define your demographics, the interests and the preferences of your ideal reader when it comes to self publishing or digital products, you're able to locate them. So, my ideal client is someone who's currently staying at home or wants to stay at home and they're making between 40 and 50,000 a year, and they're a single parent or married living off of one income. And they are on social media wasting their time trolling and not scrolling for ideal client research, or what I like to say is, collaboration potential. Okay. And so once that is done for you, and once you're able to do that, then you can go on to like Amazon or different search tools that I give to you inside of Niche to Nations, and you're able to explore existing books in your genre, or and analyze their audience. So one of the things that I liked is a particular kids book that I just wanted to create because I had went through this process with my kids, right? And teaching them to read and stuff and helping them. Um, my particular readers needed something a little bit different. So I created that for them, and I got results from it. And so I went on to Amazon KDP, and I started research, not KDP, but I went onto Amazon and I started searching to see if there was anything like this. And of course there's something like it, right? And so I saw one that had like over 50,000 sales and all of this kind of stuff. And at the time when I found it, I was like, oh, why would I even make what I have? Like, why did I waste my time? But here's the difference. The difference was that I'm a believer and God told me to do it. And so I'm going to do it. Right. Adidas, Nike, Puma, they all make shoes. What makes them different? Right. What makes them stand out? And so you can use tools like the Amazon search bar and look for reviews and forums to understand what's there, but it'll help you see what people are looking for, and it'll help you narrow it down. So then you can analyze the competitor landscape. I was able to see what types of books were similar to mine and what were performing better, examining their book covers and the descriptions, excuse me, and the reader views and the insights. And by me doing this, it was like, oh, this is what they're saying. This is how they were drawn to that. Oh, I get that. This is how they used that language. Okay, that makes sense. Identify gaps and areas where your book can offer a unique perspective or fill in a niche. So this is where analyzing a competitor's landscape is so important. There are just certain values and morals and things that I live by. And so when I see a competitor or somebody that I'm watching, and it seems like, oh, this would be great for me to work with them because it shows that they got it all together and all this. But then you watch them live, or you're watching one of their trainings and they're dropping F bombs everywhere, and they're basically, excuse me, but talking out of their ass. Uh, I can't, I can't be in alignment with that. Like that doesn't, because to me, that's too much playing like it's a lie. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't sit right with me. And so when that happens, it's like, okay, well, they're doing really well. It seems like they're doing really well. But when you start looking at their audience, their target audience, they have a lot in common, right? And so, that how they say in the worldly terms, like you are what you attract. And so, my concept and the mind that I thank the Lord for every day is I I've worked really hard to renew my mind that if I have to change to be worse in order to make a dollar, then that tells me that the dollar would be more important than the God I serve. And so when you're doing competitor analysis, or when you're looking at things as a believer, remember, we're niching down to learn certain skills, but we're also preparing for the Lord to release us so that we can lead from the power of our testimony. And so your book may be, how the Lord delivered me from poverty, or how the Lord took me off the streets, or how I, overcame, you know, gluttony, or obesity, or lust of the flesh, or pride, or And it's like people aren't going to want to bite that, or like they're not going to want to take that. Like people don't want to read that, right? And so coming up with a title that's going to hook them, and then when they get that, they go through and be like, dang, this is some real raw, relatable stuff. When I wrote my first book, the people that I was in competition with I didn't look at anybody else. I literally wrote based on this is what the Lord told me to write. And so I did it. There's typos, there's all that stuff because I didn't know any better, right? I don't think Moses knew how to part waters other than to trust God. I don't believe that Noah knew how to build a boat other than here's this and learn how to do it, right? So my first experience in Go Around was I had no background, no education in this before it was even a thing on self-publishing. This happened prior to 2020. I had written it, all of this kind of stuff, and the Lord was like, get this out, get this out. And by the time I was finished was in 2020. Now, I talked about a lot of things on there, and I was pretty embarrassed about it because it wasn't perfect. It wasn't what everyone else said, and it didn't get a lot of sales. But it wasn't about the sales for me. It was literally about the conversations that people would read and they couldn't put it down because it was, wow, okay, you're literally just like having a conversation with me and I'm reading this book. And the book is called The Significance in the Pit, and I sell it for like $5 online. Like I don't make anything from it. It's like coins. Like I think I put it as like the least amount, and that I had to put it for because of how much it costs to make it and stuff and to ship or whatever. But that's the purpose of that, right? So nobody's doing that. And I don't really see a lot of people doing that, but that's the power of my testimony. And it's gotten me to learn so much about market research and how important it is and why it's powerful in developing a business because as you navigate, you learn a lot about your target audience, but identifying your target audience and their needs, looking at competition, um, how how can you make a unique book or journal that stands out on Amazon to that specific person who's scrolling on Amazon, right? Or on Instagram or on TikTok, and they hear the title of your book and they're like, oh my goodness, let me go search for this book. And they search it and it pops up your book. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a positioning piece. That's something that hooks them and it doesn't give them all the meat and potatoes. It gives them a bite of the meat of the steak, of the filet mignon, right? Or of, the herb roasted chicken, whatever you want to call it, and a piece of vegetable, okay? And maybe a bite of mashed potatoes or whatever. I'm being silly, but I want you to think of it as that's your positioning piece. It's that the table's fully set, it's absolutely beautiful, and they sit down and it's them tasting your a bite of the meal that you've created for them. It's that first bite, like, wow, this is good. I'm gonna tear this, I'm gonna eat this up. You hear me? And so that's kind of where I'm going and how I've kind of always been about these things because what works for me as a leader is not going to maybe work for another person, but I will tell you this, it works for who you're called to serve. So when it comes to, keyword research and, you know, knowing who your reader is, analyzing the competitors and building a strong keyword strategy, you're going to start talking about that on all of your social media as you're writing. So it starts, algorithms start pulling those type of people that they have similar things or views and all of that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, when it's time to launch your book, it's like, oh, wait a minute. She's about to launch a book, but she's got, this freebie or this webinar coming up. Okay, great. And then we go into designing the book. So you're already talking and serving and showing up on social media, but you're truly looking at strategic design, right? That is emphasizing the impact of intentional and visually appealing designs on product sales, right? So significant and captivating visuals on a cover, they'll attract buyers and generate consistent passive income when done correctly. Um, this is probably one of the most fun things that I have in design and digital design because you can literally create something based off of a keyword search and type in a word and it'll pull up a bunch of different graphics and you can narrow it down based on that. Okay. Or maybe you actually, schedule a professional photo shoot and you create that entire process. Okay. And what that looks like. Then there's the like designing your interior and what all that looks like and how easy that can be. And I don't want to say easy because it's not easy, but how how fun it can be when you're sizing your guide or working on your templates and all of these different things and you're thinking about that one person. You're not thinking about all the fish in the sea. You're thinking about that one, right? Jesus left the 99 for you. Stop thinking about the 99 and focus on the one, right? This is why I talk about this in this month's masterclass for angelicastanley.co. I'm going to be talking about, you can click the link in the description, but it's for the Preparing for War masterclass. And in this masterclass, I'm actually talking about um, how to market like Jesus. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, like market like Jesus. Like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm glad you're saying that because that's kind of how I was when that was given to me. But the market for Jesus or market like Jesus is, when Jesus went out and did something, he woke up in the morning, he had his prayer life, got his assignment, and then went about his father's business. And whenever he came into contact with somebody, he said, be healed and sin no more, or, don't say anything type of thing, knowing that they were going to say something. And so, to be honest, my best clients are actually word of mouth clients. And so you might be saying, well, Angelica, how do I start out? And, all of these different things. I know we're focused on social media and it's a great thing to do. But when you're first starting out, focus on those 1 to 5 clients. 3 would be your sweet spot. Clients that somebody's worked with you and then that person referred to you and they came and worked with you, and do it through a one-on-one coaching program. And I walk my clients through this. And so the market like Jesus is me kind of helping you set up what that looks like on social media, as well as, leading to that one-on-one approach, right? And so I'm excited about this, but I'm even more so excited about, the weekly workshops that are inside of Well Valley Daily, or excuse me, formerly Well Valley Daily. They're inside of Niche to Nations. We changed the group. So Niche to Nations is a Facebook group and it's also a podcast and it is also community. Okay. So, and an online growth hub. So it's an all-in-one stop shop. Okay, that you get access to all of this stuff. Basically, the workshops that I'm putting on are inside of the Online Biz Growth Hub. So if you're in the group, you'll get, you'll watch the course, you'll be able to watch it. And then after that, it goes back into the course. So to get the replays, you have to be part of the course, which is $7 a month. Okay. And so that's how we do it. It's pretty simple, but the whole goal of this is to be able to help you get it together and just do what God has called you to do. And so this is how I can help you navigate, identify your client, the person that the Lord is calling you to work with. And, a lot of times, some people, they don't lead with ministry first. They lead with business first because the business ministry is their home. And so when clients come in, they kind of become like part of your family because they're taking those quiet times away from you and from your family. And so, like, when I get off of a call, my husband will be like, "How did that go?" And without too much detail, it's, well, this, and this, and we got to pray about this. And it's not sharing all the beans, it's just saying pertinent things. And that's what I mean by when you're working with someone one on one, it's more of an intimate, you know, mutual respect and relationship because in order for you to help them, they're going to share some pretty delicate things with you because majority of the chaos is what is blocking their consistency, which is blocking their gifts from the gifts making room for them. And so you niching down is just a tool that I can teach you, a skill that I can teach you. But the Lord positioning you and you going to the nations and speaking to who the Lord, ministering and all of that to those that you're called to speak to, that's a whole nother ballgame, right? Like, I can't do that for you. The Lord does that for you. I mean, Jesus is the one that went up to Peter and was like, okay, you're a fisherman, but I'm going to make you a fisher of men now. So Peter knew business. And because he had those skills, he was niched down that now he's able to take him to the nations. Does that make sense? I love that. When the Lord gave me that perspective, I was like, wow, that is so powerful. So I pray this encourages you. I know this was kind of a different type of series. I'm not really sure what to think of it other than I just know that the Lord truly, truly, just, I've been so blessed by this. And so I want you to click the link in the description, join us inside of Well Valley Daily, get into the guide section, get into the modules, do all of that great stuff, and get started, okay? Prep to Publish opens up coming up here in the spring. So basically, these workshops that if you get in the group, they're free. But if you want the replays, they're going to be inside of the Growth Hub, which is $7 a month. And if you want to take what you learned from the Growth Hub, niching down, getting all of, identifying your client, creating a digital product, all of the basic stuff, and then turning that into a self published work, then click the link in the description, get in the group, and get started. And if you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram at Well Valley and we can chat and see which is the best starting point for you. Okay. I love you. God bless you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you on the next episode. Are you faith driven with a burning desire to self publish a workbook, a journal, a book, or training materials that will position you for business while nurturing your family and faith? If your answer is yes, then I have something for you. Welcome to the Product Positioning Roadmap workshops at Well Valley. If your answer is yes, these bi-weekly workshops are tailor-made for you because the Product Positioning Roadmap for Prep to Publish workshop series offers participants a comprehensive roadmap for crafting and positioning their digital products for success in the marketplace. By guiding them through the process of creating compelling offers and mastering self-publishing, the workshop sets them up for success on their journey to launching profitable digital products. Click the link in the description to learn more.